Welcome to The Hill. We hope you enjoy this week's message.
Hello everybody, how are we doing? So I'm going to start off first with a little story. It's a recent one, and what's really nice about the things I'm going to share today is a lot of it is very recent. And sometimes going through the project, it's nearly 2 years now since we started Matthew's House. How crazy is that? So March will be 2 years. But yeah, we use some of the same stories sometimes because they're that powerful, they make an impression, and we feel part of them, that stories from 2 years ago can still feel really relevant. But I wanted to share new ones and encourage you guys, right? So, first story is a few months ago. With what we do at Matthew's House, it's getting quite out there with schools, with colleges, universities, local companies, all these different things. And we get invited to share about what we do to other people. That's brilliant, isn't it? Something that we started, something that God started using us. We're invited to all these different places to share about it. So this particular story was about a school. And I went into a school and it was teaching them a little bit about how the charity was set up, the history of this place, and what we do, and encourage them on that to look out for other people. So I was sharing, Robin.
I was thinking it was Hannah.
Just about to blame my wife for having his phone on, look. So anyway, I went into this school, right, about 2-3 months ago now, and I was asked to teach on the setup of Matthew's House and what it does. So I did that, and in the corner, as you get in any school lesson, you'd have two disruptive pupils, right? And they were both encouraging each other, and at one point the teacher got up and shouted at them, and I was a bit like, whoa, I haven't been in this environment for a long time. So anyway, carried on talking, and I thought, right, I'm going to angle this now to get the attention of those two pupils. One of them started chilling out a bit more, which is good. The other one was on form that day, though, right? So there were certain things that I was asking him and then getting him to engage, to understand what I'm about to speak, because it's really cool stuff. And I felt at the end of the lesson that pupil took some good stuff away, as well as the rest of the class, right? And I felt I was accomplished, and I was happy, and I know that those 20, 30 young people will be going and sharing about Matthew's House to other people and the values that we have. Later that day, when I got back to Matthew's House to do some more stuff, I had an email, and it was from that teacher. And the teacher goes, Tom, I am so sorry about those two pupils. I've already taken it to the headmaster. I've already put them on this, all these different things, because she was quite embarrassed, right? And I thought about it, and I was like, I wasn't that bad. And then I thought about it again, and I was like, well, actually, scary, but 15 years ago, I was just like that kid. And I was the annoying little person in the corner. And now I'm part of this place that's changing lives of people all around Swansea. So I replied with that, and I said, get into that guy's life. Work out what's going on, because that guy could be a life changer too. So I thought I'd share with that we get this amazing chance to share about what we're doing at Matthew's House. And sometimes people don't always see it. Sometimes people don't always understand it. And I thought that was a massive teaching opportunity, because I was probably worse than that. And that's if I turned up to lessons. But it was a beautiful moment for me to realize that we get to do these things to the city, like Hannah was saying, all over Swansea. So I thought I'd start with that, because it's a real good recent story. But before I continue to show you how this place is changing lives, and what we're doing in and around Swansea, I wanted to thank you all. Is that cool? Yeah? So me and Hannah and Barney. Right, Barney? He's watching. Yeah. We've been part of this church now for about 5-6 years, and we've been around a few churches, and we've just felt loved, appreciated, part of it, this group, this church. And we just wanted to thank you guys for allowing us to be part of it, for being part of it yourselves and growing with us. So I've written a little letter that I wanted to share. Is that all right? And sometimes it's good, as I say thank you, just to think about it. And yeah, so anyway, I'm going to read it from here. Thanks for allowing us to be part of the Hill Church. Hannah and I have been to many churches in our walk with Jesus. And around 5-6 years ago, we found this church, the Hill. And I've made it our home church ever since. What I love about the Hill is that we're active. We're Jesus-centered. We love to build up people, train people, and share with others about what we love most. I love that half the people in this room were with us before Matthew's house, and the other half have joined us whilst being in Matthew's house, making the Hill Church a bunch of super compassionate, loving folk that love to carry out God's work and love all people. Personally, I've always been a bit of a people person and love people. And with a difficult few years in my teens, I realized that lots of different people can experience difficult times in different circumstances and in different ways. And if I could do something about that to help those difficult times, then I would. What's brilliant about this is I'm now part of a church that thinks like that, a family that thinks like that, and I'm blessed to be part of Matthew's house that is driven by people who are like that. So thank you all for serving, being and living life with us as the Hill Church and Matthew's house. The Lynches feel truly blessed to be part of the Hill. God has provided all the way through from the very beginning of the project, and for us as a family too. And we are sure he has with each and every one of you here. And it has been an absolute blessing to stand with you as we continue to grow as a force for good and the gospel in the city. So that's just the message from me, Hannah, and Barney. Barney had input. He was probably crying at the time, but he had input. Just because we love it. We love being part of this crazy bunch, you know. And it does make a whole difference because we've been in those positions where we've gone through our walk and we've gone to churches and something just isn't right. We're missing it, you know. We want to be part of it. We want to be where God wants us to be. And it hasn't been there, but we feel God wants us here. So thank you for allowing us to do that. So it's good. Yeah, thank you. It's good. So what I'm going to do now, that first story was about that kid in the corner who don't write him off because I reckon people that are naughty in class when they're 15 years old can be life changers too, okay? So what I'm going to get through is I'm going to share the story of Matthew's house because it's amazing and it's really important that we remember the moments where it started all the way through. Remember the moments of our walk with Jesus. It's really important, right? So I'm going to share about how it started, what it is now, where we're going to, and all the lovely bits, the stats and stuff. And then I'm going to inspire you, hopefully, as well, okay? So it started in 2015. Robin's going to write all this down now to see if I got all the factual evidence right. So this is like a test as well. But it started in 2015. We got excited about having a building. So the Hill Church used to rent a space, but we wanted a building where we could express our love for the city. That's how it started. One night, Robin came home from work and felt compelled, got a nudge from God to pray on Mia's, the building opposite Joe's Ice Cream. A few weeks later, we heard that this place, St. Matthew's Church, was up for sale. So we got together as a church. I remember the evening, it was tea and biscuits over someone's house, and it felt like hundreds of people in this living room. But there was probably about 20 or 30 of us, and we all got really excited that this building, do you know what I mean? This place, this could be it. This could be the Mia's that we're talking about. So at that point, the Hill Church had about £10,000 in its bank account, and £80,000 St. Matthew's Church came up. And it was a little bit, I don't know whether this is going to work. But excitement, prayer, compassion, you know, people who were just really wanted it to happen, gave their savings, gave up holidays, put so much effort into 2 weeks of sharing with friends and family and all these people. And after a couple of weeks, we managed to have £80,000 to bid for this building. How cool is that? That's a moment. That's the start of it all, you know. So a few months go on, and we get the keys, and we walk into the building, and it's one of those moments. And I always remember it, like you walk in and you go, flipping heck, what are we going to do with this place? Do you know what I mean? It's amazing to be part of, and it's those moments that we should treasure. You know, and we have so many in life, but those moments are special. So we were passionate, we made it, we didn't have a clue what we were going to do. A few ideas here and there. I don't think we even had a name. But we were eager. So it took months of people setting up this place, painting, gutting. I think someone nearly fell off while sanding a bit of ceiling or something like that. There was loads of stuff going into it, and it was a brilliant moment. And how I like to share it, right? So when I go to places and I share about Matthew's house, I do it in a way that we're a group of people, we're a family. You know, because I go to a lot of places where I can't necessarily share the church side of things, the Christian aspect, in such an open way. But I do it like this, and then people ask, oh, that's unusual, and that's then how I can explain it a bit more. But how I explain it is, we're a family. We've just bought this home, and we want to open our home up to those that don't have a home, or may not understand or know what a home feels like. And that's what we want to do. So I like to share that because it's great for us. When people ask, you know, a lot of us are involved in Matthew's house and what we're doing here. When people are asking us, oh, so what is it? That's a nice, lovely, easy way to share with people and to start it all off. So that's the story. We got in this place. We started a cafe project. So put your hands up if you've eaten at Matt's Cafe. Oh, that's a good number of hands, that is. Dan, you've eaten. If Dan has eaten, none of you have got an excuse. He is the most fussiest eater I know, right? So I'm so glad you put your hand up then. So we started off the cafe, right? And it's been unbelievable. In the beginning, no one believed in it. No one believed in the idea, the project. And we were asking everyone for food and help and all this. And no one was with us. You know, it was a core little group that started it. And there was probably about 10, 15 people. At the moment, there's about 80 people involved in running it on a monthly basis. How crazy is that? 80 people. So the cafe started. The idea was brilliant. It just absolutely flew. At that point when it started, the first day it opened, I was in the steelworks, so I was still working in Port Talbot at the time. And I was there on my phone just getting updates all day because the place was running on its own with volunteers. And it was like, oh my gosh, I'm getting anxieties here. You know, I'm meant to be climbing coal piles and all that, but I'm sitting in the canteen getting updates of how it's going and all these things. So that was the start. And I'm not going to tell you all the figures and stats yet, because I'm going to do that all in a nice section. But the second one that came along is the Dignity Pack. So we started a project called the Homeless Period Swansea. And that came from a volunteer who had experienced period poverty. We explored it in Swansea, and it was a gap that we found that no one did anything about it. Since then, we've set it up. We've done some collections. It's been absolutely brilliant. And from next week, I think we're going to be part of a steering group in the city for the whole city on period poverty with one of the local councillors. How cool is that? We get to be part of that. So that was the second project. The third project, as you can probably tell, is going to be the showers. How cool is that? Yeah. So we're going to have lovely, bright, colourful, warm-feeling showers and toilets as well. So it'll be about 4 to 6 weeks. But we'll get there, okay? I do promise. Don't keep on. It's difficult enough. You know, we all get cold bottoms when we go on the Portaloos. But, yeah, so that's the next one. But it's only been 2 years, and we're on our third project. That's brilliant, isn't it? And that is because of how much effort and how many people have been involved to grow it, carry it, and just support it. And it really is a project that is making waves in the city, but not just in the city, with the city. And we've had a lot of people get involved. And it's one of those things, we are just being like Jesus in all that we do. And people notice that because it's different. It's not usual, it's different. So now I'm going to share some really cool stats, because everyone loves a good stat, don't they? And, oh, I like a good stat. It's one of those things. So I can guarantee you this, right? And is anyone thinking about eating here this evening? No? Okay. Well, I would encourage you to eat here this evening. Do you know why? Because tonight we will serve our 30,000th meal. How nuts is that? That is cool. So, and I didn't know, come up to it. So every day for the last 2 weeks, I've been doing the numbers, working out, when's it going to be? Is it going to be 30,000 like last week or next week? But I can guarantee you, I'm not a betting man, but I put money on it that tonight we will give out our 30,000th meal. That's how you say it. So 30,000 meals, that's amazing, isn't it? And that's from donations from all people from all over the city. That's food collections. So we've got 29 food collections a week now. And the brilliant thing about that is all the food that we collect, whatever we don't use, we redistribute it. So it goes to a place called the Phoenix Centre in Town Hill. They work with the local community there, so it goes to family and children. We work with a few asylum seeker groups, so it goes up to there and they give it out in their drop-in centres. So we don't waste. How amazing is that? Since we started, it's 20 tons of food we have collected now. I feel sorry for people like Alan, whose suspension on their cars have got to cart all the food all the time. But one thing I was reading recently, which is brilliant, right? So we intercept that food, don't we? 20 tons of food. Did you know if Jesus was around today, he'd be collecting food and giving it to us as well? And it says, it's a really cool Bible verse that I come along. So it's John 6, verse 12. I don't know if we can get it up. Tech guys, maybe. Oh, there's a note. I like the note. No. There's a note on my screen that says, may have fixed the tech. It's just brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. So anyway, lucky I've got it here. But John 6, verse 12 said, when they had had enough to eat, Jesus said to his followers, so it's with the bread and the fish, gather the leftover pieces of fish and bread, so nothing is wasted. How cool is that? That Matt's Cafe, if Jesus was in Swansea today, he'd be in there, washing dishes and doing all things like that. How cool is that? So with the Dignity packs as well, we've given out 500 packs, not just the guests, and we do men and women's packs now, but we've just put 50 aside to take to the cancer ward in Singleton Hospital, where people struggling and going through those times and don't have the family locally or the resources or anything like that, get a bit of dignity through their time as well. So it's not just people that are struggling and on the street, but it's have fixed the tech is the new code word. So thanks for next time, yeah? Cool. But yeah, so we're giving these packs out all over Swansea. Not just the guests, like I said, but there's different. So we're working with Devodal, which is when people come out of prison. They're like the first people probation service. They give packs out to people that have got nothing. And so we've already given out 500. And this year in May, Matthew's House is dedicating a whole week to drive in the project because we want to work in schools as well. So we want to do schools boxes that we can give to the teachers, the schools, primary and secondary. So if anything is needed with the children, anything there, that they've got stuff on hand. So I love all that stuff. It's brilliant. It's cool. So like I said, 80 volunteers. We're working with currently around 30 plus different other charities and companies that are supporting us. If you have a look over here, on the right, there's boxes of rice. Yeah? So we had a pallet. It was huge. It took 3 hours to sort. And there's 26 boxes of rice, right? So it's a local company. I give him a call on Monday. He dropped the pallet off on Friday and just said, here we go, enjoy it. And it's just like companies and places like that all over Swansea that just love to be part of this place. We had 19 harvest festivals this year. We couldn't, it's nuts. That wall has taken forever to drop, but it is getting there. So we had 58 Christmas Day for a 3-course meal. How amazing is that? And we had so many comments that just encourage you, and you think, it's a lot of planning, it's a lot of stuff to get through, and we've still got turkeys, which is really nice. But 58 people, and so many comments of, this is the best day I've had. This is the best Christmas I've had for a long time. I've loved being with you people. And some of the guys that came and joined us decided to be with us instead of with family because they felt more at home here than they did in their own. So it just shows what we're doing is working when we get the comments like that, because we don't ask, they come and share it with us, you know. So we've got Liam Britton, ex-Swansea player, is our ambassador, so I'm hopefully going to get a bit more out of him and the Swans now the transfer window's over. We do haircuts as well, one Tuesday a month, and we've done nearly 60 haircuts now. That's the volunteers, guests, all people that come and use this place. One really cool thing is this month, we've got an asylum seeker that's training with our hairdresser and will come once a month now with Joe and cut hair with her. And he's actually amazing at doing beards and lines and stuff like that. So it's a really lovely Tuesday, once a month that is. So we have different groups. We've got Narcotics Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous. We've worked with the sex workers, drop-in with the police, and all these different things that happen in this place. And remember when I said the moment at the beginning when we walked in and we go, flipping heck, what are we going to do with this place? And now, you know, less than 2 years on, we're just reeling off all these things. And each one of these is a real precious moment that God is providing. God is bringing people to us. God is working in this place. God is changing lives, right? Two last things is 2 of our volunteers were nominated by someone else, right? So someone who's not a supporter of Matthew's House, but not in Matthew's House, to a local MP to go to a royal garden party. How cool is that? And that local MP, out of all the nominations, chose 2 volunteers from this place. So in May, they get to share the day together, feeling like royalty. How awesome is that? And one of the latest ones is just last Saturday or the Saturday before, we carried out our second personalised safeguarding training for our volunteers, which a few of you have been on. And I don't know about you guys, but it's groundbreaking stuff for us, that we have our own specialised stuff, that we've got these teams and people around us, that we're able to do it, and we get to input and train people up to be better people. Do you know what I mean? And I love that stuff. And so these are all stats. You know, I get quite emotional about it because it's quite exciting as well. But these are all stats that show that when we started, we didn't really know what we wanted to do. And we've just been willing, we've been passionate, we've been ready, and we've been expectant. And each one of these has come because of how much people have put into the project. Obviously, it's God's plan, and we are firm believers in, we know God wants this and needs it in Swansea. But I had a funny conversation with someone recently, and they mentioned, oh yeah, but if God's in it, it will work, innit? And I turned around and I said, yeah. It doesn't mean it's going to be easy. It can still be hard work, because this place at times has been really, really hard work. So that's the stats, which is always quite exciting. I'm going to share some stories now, because the stats say some really cool things. 30,000 meals, 80 volunteers, 500 packs. They're amazing things, you know, to realise. But how we measure the success of Matthew's House and what we want to do here and how we see God working through us here is on the stories, on where people come to us. So it is working now, is it, guys? Yeah? So I've got 3 images, and they're quotes. So a local university did a survey here, and it was to see how it's doing, but the core of the survey was to see if it's working, what improvements can be done, and how is the best way to do it. So we were thinking, this is brilliant, because they're doing it for us, and it could really help us in knowing what's best to do. Basically, they came back and said, there's not much more you can do. We don't have an answer for you. This place is doing so much, right? So these are some quotes. So we're going to show the first one again, sorry. But these are just guests that come in that were willing to do this survey. And one person turned around and said, Matthew's House has kept me alive, warm and with people. How amazing is that? You know? The next one, there's a sense of respect here. And it doesn't matter what your background is. They treat you like human beings. There have been times I've been starving with nothing, but this place has been open. And there's there's loads of stuff. I could have said about 40 quotes today, but those three are special. One, because it shows that this place is changing lives. It shows that this place is making an impact, not just on the city on a big scale, but we want to focus on the people that need us, the individuals. And when we can show others that we respect everyone and everyone is welcome, that is huge. When we can be available when people need us, that is huge. And when we can bring dignity and make people feel like human beings, that is huge as well. And sometimes it's as simple as a smile, a welcome, a little chat and a cup of tea, but that can make people feel $1 million. One of the haircuts we did recently, a lady got her hair done, and she hadn't had it done for probably over a year. I think she said like 12 months or something like that. But we were like, oh, how do you feel? Are you happy? And she walked out, she had, I feel like $1 million. And that person didn't have a home to go to that day. And that's crazy how you can make someone feel $1 million when they don't even have a roof over their head. But it's because of how you make them feel, So with those quotes, we have just stories that happen week in, week out. And we love to jot them down for moments like this, but also for our volunteers and for people, because we love to encourage. We love to show people it works. What we're doing is working. Recently, one of our volunteers who's gone through and is going through some really, really tough struggles themselves. We were both talking on reception, and this guy came in who's quite irregular, been around about 6 months now, extremely nervous and vulnerable. And the biggest issue from just chatting to him is the isolation and just not feeling, they can't engage with people, And the person that they normally sit by and have food with in the cafe, because they don't normally come out the house, they weren't in that day. They were ill. It was a volunteer. So another volunteer heard the guy, because the guy was like, oh, if they're not in, I'm just going to go. I'm fine, all quite nervous and everything. And another volunteer who's been going through such a tough time, really, really tough time, heard it, came over and said, if you want, I'll sit with you. And they sat together and had lunch. And it was one of those moments, and all the other things we did that day, hundreds of meals, this and that was the moment, because that is true hospitality, that's true care, and that's dignifying, isn't it? That is giving hope. So, and it's stories like that that really urge us to do more, and excite us to do more, and encourage us to do more. Recently, we had another person, part of the team, and shared about like really difficult moments of self-harm, right? And it must have taken them so much to share that with us, so much, because it was really powerful. And when someone shares something and you don't really know how to react, we just wanted to bless them. We just wanted to be, humble to them and thankful of what they shared to us. And you never really know how that person then feels. But the week later, he came back to the team and said, you know what, I shared that to other people, and they told me not to come back. I shared it with you, and you made me feel welcome, and you made me feel special, and I can't thank you enough. I love being part of this team, And it's moments like that, little by little, where we can niggle into people's lives. So one of the things, we've got these awesome stories, and they encourage me daily. And it's one of those things can be going wrong in this place. Things can be difficult, things can be stressful, and then a story like that will pop up, and it just wipes the slate clean again. My heart's ready, my head's ready, and I'm back on. And my stress is gone, and I'm thinking, I know why I'm doing this, because it's changing lives, and I believe God's in it. God's at the beginning of it. He's at the start, and he's at the core, and he is driving it forward. And they often come in the perfect times. And something I learned the other day is going through this book, and we often say God's timing, God's timing. Well, I learned that God created time. That's better than God's timing, isn't it? that baffles me. You know, you get these little things sometimes. I was not even in my talk, it's just as I'm talking. But he created it. He created everything. He created time, this thing that we use. So it's not really God's time. And he just, it baffles me, that does. So I thought I'd share that. Back on topic. Just Tuesday, I was sitting in the cafe and I was running actually back and forth into the projector cupboard because every now and again Spotify that we use for the sound, the music, has a bit of a wobbly and stops. So then there's no music and, oh no. So I've gone and done it, and then as I come back out, a couple were like, oh, how are you, Tom? And I was like, oh, how are you? You get to meet everyone by name and stuff like that. And they asked me about the support groups that we have here. So the Narcotics Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous, and they were like, could we go? And I was like, well, absolutely. We just support them to run it, So I give them the times and the things like that. And they were like, it'll be our first group that we're going to go to. And in September, we did our last week of crack cocaine, heroin, everything. And I went to prison for the weekend, the woman, and the husband said it ate him up. He couldn't do it. It wasn't about him, it was about her. And then when she was there, she just felt, I've had enough. I've done it now. I'm getting older. I can't be living this life. And in September, they stopped. And then they got a home. And then they're getting in these support groups. And they're slowly making it. And they turned around and said, this place has been incredible for that period of time. Because we've been able to come and be real people. Eat together, talk together. Meet people that aren't in those circles. Like volunteers and stuff like that. And it's been one of those things. So they just wanted to thank me and ask about the group. How awesome is that? You just get stopped in the middle of everything. And so like I said, loads of stories. And you could keep going all day. And I often say, if you want to hear more, you can invite me for lunch. So that offer's still there. It always stands, that does. So what's next? I've said about the start. I've said about the stats. I've tried to encourage you with the real life stories of how this place is changing lives. The next step for us, like I said earlier, is the shower project. We don't fully know how it's going to run, how it's going to be accepted into the city. We know it's a gap. So often we've had people that come in and they just want to wash and they just want to use the sink, and why not have a shower, And it would be one of the first in Swansea that's communal in a way that anybody can use it. And we know it's going to be used loads, but it's like, how is it going to start and stuff? So it's exciting, isn't it? It's encouraging that we're finding the gaps in the city and trying to plug them, because we want it to be a place where people can come and be part of it. It hasn't been easy last couple of weeks. And it was funny because I don't know whether to say this on here, but I did text Robin at one point this week and said, if there was any day that I could punch someone in the face, it'd be today. And then one of my mates walked through the door at the same time. So I was like, no, I'm nice. It's all right. I'm praying for grace at the same time, praying for grace. But it does get difficult. And I've had really difficult conversations. I have really difficult days. And you think some things would be straightforward, and they're not. But in that day, in one of the most difficult days where I felt like that, we had an email come through. And we had another friend at Matthew's house sign up. Someone give money to us monthly because they heard something on a random radio station. They started Googling all about it. They found our Wales Online articles, and they think these guys are doing something really good in Swansea, and I want to support that. That in the middle of the chaos. So for us, we're always taught to remember the moments, and for me, that little bit in that day that was so difficult was God just telling us that he's with us. He's in this. There's difficult times, but we're with you. But one of the things I want to do today, so I'm going to come up with some challenges at the end, so I'm slowly coming to the end now, is just out there, can you see that Portaloo? Yeah? So they've been a real difficult thing of this project, and you think, how can a Portaloo be difficult? I'll explain it over that lunch you're going to invite me to. But anyway, that Portaloo out there, right? This is a moment. We've just been blessed as a project with tens of thousands of pounds to refurbish this building and do another service into this city, right? By a local company. We've been given tens of thousands of pounds to do it. And it's a moment. And we should remember those moments because they matter. And each moment is a moment of growth. And sometimes I think we can go through it and forget that God's in it. And forget that God is driving it. And forget to thank God through the moment. And sometimes it may be in 3 months' time we look back and think, oh, they're all lovely and amazing and colourful. And then we thank God. But I just want to encourage you guys, as you see this project growing, to keep thanking God. And one of my challenges is, we got those portaloos outside. They're cold, they're smelly, they're wet. But go in there, use it, be part of this moment, and thank God while you're in there. Because you will remember that moment even more if you do that. So you've only got 4 weeks left. But I want you, while they're here, to go and have a pee. Just a pee is good enough, right? And just thank God for this moment, that the city believes in what we do, and that we're continually growing, and we're going to continually grow. And we need to keep remembering to thank God as we do that. So following the showers, we'll have a choir. How cool is that? So Louise, where's Rich? Is Rich around? Yeah, he's hiding out there somewhere. But Louise and Alida as well. Alida, yeah. Oh, you snuck in, didn't you, Alida? So Louise and Alida will be leading a choir. How awesome is that we'll be able to go around the city? I won't be part of it, unfortunately. We're going to have a laundry room, and I'm nagging Leon Britton and the Swans to get more involved with that. And we're going to have a buddy system. We're going to start planning that soon, it's like an advocacy service where, as trusted volunteers in Matthew's house, people could come to us, which they already do, and we could do a little bit more than what we already do, whether that's taking people to doctor's appointments, signing forms and filling things up, or just being a voice to help them in their situations. That's exciting, isn't it? We've got 3 big ones already. We're in the 3rd one starting, and we've got 3 big ones to go. So we're like halfway through. It's not halfway through, there's loads to go. But so my challenges are, thank God for the moments. Get on a portaloo and thank God for this moment, right? It's a serious challenge, and God will appreciate that because he listens to our prayer in quiet, and you will remember that moment and this moment of Matthew's house. Another one is join and grow with us. There's loads of examples of where people in this room and all around us, people who will listen to this, are with us and growing with us. And if you're not, then I encourage you to. Just a couple of examples, there's loads, is Roger there. He's a guy this year, he's nearly here as much as me, right? How mad is that? Like he basically, I think it's like 5 times a week he pops down and does this and that, and my list for him ever grows, doesn't it, Rog? Yeah. The other one then is Sarah. Where's Sarah? Sarah, there we are. Sarah, right, she helps out on Sundays, just about to have a baby. I've got to plan ahead, haven't I? The maternity leave and all things like that. Yeah, volunteers, maternity leave, it does happen. So I ask her, she goes, I only want a week. I'm like, Sarah, you're just about to give birth and have a baby. Yeah, but I like it, I just want a week. I like, no, you're having a month, right? But these are people that are involved and they want to be here. And the more you get involved, the more you get to feel part of it and get the joy out of it and the excitement and see God working all the way through it. So encouragement is to join us if you're not with us and to continue to grow with us if you are. Thank God for the moments. I got another verse then. 1 John 3:18 says, my children, we should love people not only with words and talk, but by our actions and true caring. And the true caring bit for me stands out quite a lot because we want to give dignity, we want to give hope, and that's true caring. Anybody can care, you know. Most people can pick up Barney for half an hour and look after him and care for him, but true caring is being there like 3 a.m. in the night when he's crying and kicking off and all these things, do you know what I mean? And I just want to encourage you guys to see how you're true caring, see how you can keep doing that, whether it's in this place. But when I was preparing this talk, one of the things I thought of is Matthew's house. Yes, this building, but wouldn't it be brilliant if it was a culture that we could take with us of true caring? How awesome would that be? So Matthew's house isn't just in this building, But we're going out and we want to be hospitable and give hope to people that we meet in the street, people that we work with, our family and friends that don't know Jesus yet. So that's my other challenge to you as well. In the beginning, I shared a story about that kid in the corner in that classroom, and that he could be someone that's part of this place that's changing lives one day too. Just last Sunday, a couple came to eat with us in Matthew's house. And we get loads of people eat, obviously. And they put a donation in, they went home, and they put a review on our page. And we don't get loads of reviews. I think we've got about 20. So I'm going to read the review now and just show you how this place has been changing lives. So this person said, some of the best veggie and vegan munch in Swansea. That's a good starting line, isn't it? This space is so important and needed. Pay what you feel for a hot meal and a cuppa. One of the few spaces left which can be enjoyed by all, no matter what your circumstances. The volunteers who keep this place running are simply phenomenal. It's people like them who change the world. She came in for half an hour for food. She hasn't met all of us, but I believe that's fully true. So I want to encourage you guys that if you can be part of it, and most of us are part of it in some small way that you probably didn't even realize, enjoy it. Be encouraged, because we're doing a God thing, and God's part of this.
We hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you'd like to learn more about the Hill Church, please visit our website, the-hill.co, or come and see us on Sunday at 4 p.m. in Matthew's house.